Hey y'all, Nico here. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thanks for joining me. I'm Nico. Today's video is some tips and modifications on how to get into pigeon pose, also known as Ekapada Rajakapatasana, or it might be called Ardha Kapotasana. So I'm going to show you how to get into the full expression of the pose first, and then I'm going to show you a few different modifications so that when we are doing practices, if pigeon pose is hard for you to get to, you'll have these modifications available to you. So the props I'm using today are a pillow and a chair, and I'll show you how to use these props within the practice. So let's first get into the regular expression, or what I would normally do in my videos. So we'll come to a table position, and we'll start to slide the right knee up in between the hands. Now, depending on your hip flexibility, you may be able to get your shin more parallel to the top edge of your mat, so more of a straight line with your shin. But my body doesn't really work like that, so I have a deep bend in my knees, in my front knee. So we're doing the right knee first. I have a deep bend in my front knee, and this right foot is coming over towards the left side of my mat. So once I get my knee in the position that works for me, start to extend my left leg back. And as you extend the left leg back, your body may start to kind of sway over to the right side. We want to try to stay up on top of the hips. And we have our hands resting on the mat. So let your chest be broad, kind of lifting upward a bit. A little bit of a lift in your chin. Your shoulders are rolled back. This front knee is pointing forward. And you'll have a slight back bend here as well. And kind of press this left hip downward a bit. Again, just to help keep your hips square. And you can kind of draw the navel in and up to help protect your back. Good. And then a lot of times I'll lower down for sleeping pigeon, so you can always rest your forehead on a block, but you can stack your fists and rest your forehead down, or stack your arms, or you can also reach the arms forward and let your forehead rest all the way down on the ground. So if there's a really big space between your hips and the mat, this is where your pillow can come in handy. And you can take your pillow and just tuck it underneath your hips, just to give you a little bit of something to rest on here. And help you get into the pose a little bit better. Good. Let's come out of it, the pigeon pose on this side, and do it on the other side too. So to come out of it, we'll roll onto our right hip and slide our left knee forward, and then make our way back up to table. So let's try on the other side. So we'll slide our left knee forward. Again, you may have a deep bend in that left knee, or the left shin may be parallel to the front edge of your mat. Start to extend the right leg back. Roll the shoulders back. Chest is nice and broad. Slight lift in the chin. Remembering to stay up on top of the hips. Lower that right hip a bit downward. Pull your navel in and up. And again, if there's a big space there, you can use your pillow and tuck it underneath your hips. Good, to help you get into the posture. And you can always come down to sleeping pigeon. I usually stack my forearms, but remember there are a few different options you have when it comes to sleeping pigeon. Good. We'll come back up on the hands. Let's come out of the posture. Let's move the pillow out the way. We'll roll onto the left hip. Slide the right leg forward. And I'm going to show you this seated variation, this floor seated variation. So we'll extend our legs to straight, and then we will cross our right ankle on top of our left knee. From here, we'll bend our left knee, bring our left foot flat. and moving into this kind of modified seated pigeon here. So making this figure 4 shape, you can gently kind of press your chest towards this right leg. This is a great modification. Your knee doesn't have to be up as high as mine. Say you're not quite that flexible in that area, you can keep your knee extended forward a bit so it can be as close in towards you or as far away from you as you need it to. Let's release and do that on the other side. So extend the legs to straight. Do the other side. So cross your left ankle on top of your right knee and then bend your right knee. Good. Let's release this side. I'll show you a supine modification. So for this one, we're going to come down to our back. And it's kind of the same as the seated pigeon pose modification, except we're laying down. So we cross right ankle over left knee, and we can hug that left knee in towards our chest. Keeping both feet flexed here. You can interlace your fingers underneath the left knee or behind the left, like on top of the left thigh. And then let's release and do the other side. We'll cross a left ankle over right knee and pull that right knee in towards us. Both feet are flexed. You can interlace the fingers underneath the right knee or bring it underneath. You can also straighten this leg as well if you like. Good. Inhale, exhale, and release. I'll show you one final modification that you can do in your chair. So I'm going to grab my chair, bring it over here. And it's very similar to those other two, except we're seated in a chair this time. So sitting up nice and tall, cross the right ankle on top of the left knee and just hinge forward. This one might be one of my favorites because I feel like I get a really deep stretch when I do it in a chair. Kind of the same concept as the other modifications. And any of these versions of pigeon pose are just as effective as the full version. So don't ever be afraid or embarrassed to use modifications because all bodies are different. Everyone has different needs. Everybody's yoga practice looks different. Let's do the other side. Cross the left ankle on top of the right knee and hinge forward. Good. Keep your back nice and long. So kind of avoid rounding the spine here. Let's keep our spine nice and long and straight for this one. Give such a good stretch along the IT band outside of the left hip here. And pigeon pose is such an essential pose. It's a pose that I use almost every day. And we'll come back up. We'll release the left foot. And that's it. Those are our modifications. There is a playlist with pose modifications and tips, so make sure you check out that playlist on my channel. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought about this video. Check the links in my description box about joining my channel as a member, Black Yogi Nico Marie merch, and there's also a link to my DJ channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace and love.